welcome to the summer of 1718. This is video 80, and these are the rebels around France, around Paris. I got mixed up there between the rebellion. This is the rebellion, and these are the rebels around France. We have 5 regular infantry units. They're not all completely full. I've done my best to restore them to full strength, using the limited resources that I've got, whilst trying to build up my economy at the same time, so I've got something that can sustain these troops in the future. As well as the 5 regulars, I've managed to raise my first regiment of grenadiers, and my grenadiers are in here. I've got lots and lots of dragoons here, and the reason why I've got those is to really to stabilise the capital of Paris. If you put dragoons in there, then there's less restlessness amongst the locals. Basically, they help you settle a population. The idea being they're a kind of mounted police. You know, they can quickly get out to local villages and farms and suppress rebellions or rebellious ideas and things. You know, so I've got 6 dragoons. They're not full complete units, but they're not too bad. And I've got 1 unit of light cavalry as well. So in all, we've got 6 regiments of infantry, 6 regiments of dragoons, and we've got 1 unit of light cavalry. We're facing 8 infantry units on their side, so they outnumber us in infantry unit size, and their numbers are very similar to mine as well in terms of total numbers. So it's 8 infantry regiments facing 6, 5 of which aren't full, and 1 of which is grenadiers. He's got 1 regular infantry unit and 1 unit of minutemen, in addition to 6 militiamen. So he's got varying degrees of quality of infantry that need to be taken into account as well. Somebody very kindly said that I use strategy in my games, so they like watching the games. I'm glad to hear that. It's true. It is true that I use strategy. The reason why I use so much strategy is because usually I've got such limited resources that I can't afford to just go piling in. I've got to really take care with all the resources that I've got, resources being men and complete units. So I've got my infantry in the centre, I've got my dragoons off to the right, and I've got my dragoons and cavalry off to the right, I should say, and I've got my dragoons off to the left. They're his minutemen, you can see over there. They're behind a wall. Okay, just having a quick recce at the French rebel forces. I did say that the last battle that I fought against the French would be the last battle that I fought against the French. Hadn't taken into the account that there would be a rebellion, of course. These people have appeared over here, perhaps in woods or something, I'm not too sure, but they've appeared on my right flank, where I've got my dragoons and my horse. My horse are the ones completely to the right hand side. He'll always go for things like horse or artillery and things, you know, because they're high costing units, you know. So even though it's going to lose him his regiment, he'll still go out there and cause as many casualties on the horse as he possibly can. I've pulled my right flank back. I should say it's a right wing, actually. It's actually almost completely separate wing of the army. I've grouped them, as you can see, into 3 groups in total. Infantry in the centre and the horse troops on both of the wings. Right, okay, so I'll pull them back. He's sending his infantry unit in all on its own, from hiding in that wood to being behind that wall. He suddenly decided to go absolutely mad on his own. My horse can't fire while mounted, of course. They would have to dismount. I'm quickly reforming my troops again. His other troops are a long, long way away. These are what I would call, these troops that he's using here, a forlorn hope. This is the way that you would use an advance guard of an army in order to test out what the enemy's got, but also to test its mettle. In other words, if the army that it's facing isn't really strong enough, the forlorn hope will find that out. Unfortunately, this forlorn hope is completely surrounded by infantry. It's by cavalry. Sorry, it's just a complete joke that it's out there. It could be attacked by cavalry from the rear, shot at by dragoons from the flank, and completely outnumbered from the front. So I am a bit aghast at this particular unit. But anyway, you can see I've dismounted my dragoons there. Once you've dismounted them, when you move them, only the foot unit will move. It's worth bearing in mind that, because it means then that that when you have to get back to your horses, when you want to remount, the men have to run all the way back to their horses first before they can start moving. So it's not just a case that they'll move instantly. So you do have to be careful of that. Obviously it's a good idea some ways. You can dismount from your horses and then move your dragoons as far away from the horses as you want, so there's no injury to your horses. Okay, so we're now shooting them from the rear and from the flank. Disable the fire on those, or get them back onto their, remount them on their horses. They won't fire while they're remounting. And charge the cavalry in. They should be far enough away from his main infantry unit now for us to be able to take those out. So we've fired at him with virtually the whole of our infantry line. We've hit him with our dragoons as well, and now we're charging him away with our light cavalry. I'm a bit surprised actually that he didn't form square formation. Usually when a nation rebels, it rebels with the same technologies and the same types of troops as your own. I mean, give or take national characteristics, of course. So we don't have Minutemen normally in the Dutch pay, so in the Dutch army. So that's why the French have got them in here. Now you notice that other couple of units appearing now in the woods. This is one of my beefs, really. I mean, how you hide completely regular infantry units behind trees really does surprise me. You see, they seem to have disappeared again. Totally disappeared. There you go, and now they reappear. It all seems really quite odd to me. I mean, I can imagine Indians, Apache Indians, well, we don't have Apaches in this, I don't think, but Pueblos or whatever they are, disappearing like that, but these are just ridiculous. What I've done though is I've called my cavalry completely back away from his infantry there, and taken them round the back. The intention there is to still take out those routers. It's very important that nothing escapes from the battlefield. I've said this a million times before, I know, but in order to get those extra points for France, in order to get those extra repression points, I need to have totally defeated this rebellion. If I don't, if anything escapes, then I don't get that sort of reduction of 5 or whatever it is on his resistance to foreign occupation. It is quite a big reduction that I get when I suppress a rebellion. If I don't completely suppress it and only one unit gets away, I don't get that. And not only that, I get a free roaming unit wandering around France damaging buildings. Also, I get one that moves too far away, which means that I have to overextend my limited resources in order to be able to pick up that force, which is important to me to get in order to again settle the population of Paris. Now you can see that infantry unit now is getting well away right at the back there. I don't know if you noticed, I did check it to see how many men it had left. It had so few that I now don't believe that unit is going to reappear back on the battlefield. It is a common trick of the AI, let me say, to send out a unit there well in advance in order to attract you in. So when it rounds, in order to chase it off, you've got to go through his own men, and then he can shoot you while you're going through. Once he does that, if he takes out your cavalry while you're doing that, then you then have no cavalry then to be chasing people off the field when the main army routes. So it is a very difficult thing to do, and it's worth knocking out as many as you can. I believe I got his men down to all but 2 men left on that unit. I've never known a 2-man unit to return, so we should be okay there. Right, okay, cavalry up on the wing again. I am still moving these as whole units because it makes it much easier for me to move them. And you can see we've got a distinct advantage there, something like 3 on 1 there on his infantry unit. Now we'll take advantage of that wall, just rush them up to there. We'll then be the closest unit. He's most likely to fire at the closest unit. Priorities are fire ahead, of course, but if you can fire at the closest unit, then that's what you'll do. So we've dismounted our dragoons again, as you can see, and we're taking on that infantry regiment. Not very successfully. You notice how we're losing some horses there at the back? That's not really very good news for us, of course. That infantry unit has withdrawn anyway, so we're okay. Or rather it's routing. I need to consider using my horse again in order to chase that one off. It's a bit of a toss-up now as to how quickly this infantry unit will go that we're fighting here. So anyway, I'm sending some dragoons after that unit there because I want to keep my light cavalry back here on the right-hand side there to chase off these infantry that are taking on my dragoons to the front. Okay, caught out there with my horse a little bit close to my dragoons, but the advantage of it is I do have firepower.